Hello and welcome. Are you noticing some issues with your Zurn Wilkins 375A reduced pressure principal assembly? We'll go through some troubleshooting and maintenance steps to get your valve functioning properly. Remember, only certified personnel should perform maintenance on backflow preventers. Faulty maintenance could result in an improperly functioning assembly. Testing should be done at least once a year or more as specified by your local plumbing codes. Here are some common problems that may signal a need for maintenance. A sudden or rapid spitting of water from the relief valve, a light intermittent drip, or a heavy continuous discharge of water. First, let's gather some of the tools you'll need to complete your maintenance. We'll begin by showing you some diagnosing techniques to help you troubleshoot where your assembly is having troubles. If you notice water discharging from the relief valve vent, complete the following steps. Begin by closing the number 2 shutoff valve. Inspect the vent. If the discharge from the vent stopped or is reduced, you've diagnosed that the number 2 check valve is the source of a leak and may need maintenance. If water continues to discharge from the relief vent at the same rate, slowly open test cock number 4 until the flow of water matches the discharge volume. If the water has stopped discharging from the relief vent, then you've diagnosed that the number 1 check valve is the source of the leak and may need maintenance. This is the most common problem we encounter. If water continues to drip from the relief valve, then you've diagnosed that the relief valve is the source of the leak and may need maintenance. Before beginning maintenance, refer to the maintenance instructions on Zurn.com. There are slightly different instructions depending on the size of your unit. Now that you've diagnosed your problem, let's take the valve out of service and begin disassembling it. Begin by closing the outlet shutoff valve. Then close the inlet shutoff valve. Open the number 2, 3, and 4 test cocks to release the internal pressure. Leave them open during the check valve removal and reinstallation. Loosen and remove the 2 nuts, bolts, and seal from the grooved coupling around the access cover. Grasp one of the exposed ends of the plastic retainer, push down, and then pull towards the number 2 check valve. The retainer should spiral out of the groove around the number 1 check valve. Then remove the number 1 check valve by grasping the handle and pulling it toward the number 2 check valve. There are 2 butterfly clip retainers on the number 2 check valve. Pinch the sides of the spring together and pull the clip toward the number 1 check to remove it. Repeat for the second clip. Then remove the number 2 check valve by grasping the stem and pulling it toward the number 1 check valve location. Always service the checks one at a time to avoid mixing parts. To disassemble the check valve for inspection, start by removing the hardware and O-rings from the back of the check assembly. Separate the seal retainer from the assembly to expose the seal ring. Inspect the seal ring for cuts or embedded debris. If the reverse side of the seal is unused, the seal ring can be flipped and used temporarily until a new seal is obtained. Using your fingernail, inspect the seat edge for nicks. Inspect the check O-ring and replace it if it's cut or damaged in any way. Next, inspect the O-rings located under the washers on the retainer bolts for cuts. Reassemble the check valve by performing the previous actions in reverse, stopping after tightening the bolts, washers, and O-rings on the back of the check valve. Using your finger, inspect the valve cavity and seating areas. If any portion of the seat assembly is damaged or missing, or if the seat sealing edge is damaged in any way, do not attempt to field repair it. Contact a Zurn Customer Care representative for assistance. Repeat the previous maintenance steps on the number 2 check assembly. Flush the valve body with water to remove any debris. Note any rust or damage. Severe nicks or erosion in the O-ring bore normally require body replacement. To reinstall the check valves, begin by lubricating the number 2 check O-ring. Install the number 2 check valve in the body and close the number 4 test cock to hold it in place. Next, reinstall the butterfly clips by inserting half of the clip into the body groove to anchor it in place. Then pinch the sides of the spring together and rotate the second half of the clip into the body groove. Repeat these steps on the second retainer clip. Lubricate the number 1 check O-ring. Install the number 1 check into the body. Install the plastic retainer by inserting one end into the body groove and then sliding your hand around the face of the retainer, pushing it into the groove as you go. The retainer will snap into place when fully seated. Now we'll reassemble the access cover and grooved coupling. Make sure the ends of the coupling touch each other when it's fully bolted. Close any remaining open test cocks and then place the valve back into service. If you've diagnosed that the relief valve has a leak, perform the following steps. Begin by disconnecting the sensing tube. Note the position of the hose fitting in the cover. This fitting should be in the same position when the relief valve is reassembled after repair. Carefully remove the relief valve cover. It's spring-loaded. Remove the bolts, alternating sides. Gently pull on the plunger to remove the cartridge assembly. Inspect the diaphragm and O-rings for damage. Replace any damaged parts if required. Disassemble the cartridge by unscrewing the relief valve retaining screw. Inspect the seal ring for cuts and any embedded debris. Turn the seal ring over or replace it if it's damaged. Inspect the cover bore for damage and clean it if needed. Carefully reassemble the cartridge assembly. Tighten the retainer screw to 13 to 17 inch-pounds. Apply a light coat of lubricant to the plunger O-ring. Inspect the relief valve seat for wear on the seating surface. If it's damaged, replace the seat and the seat O-ring. Now we'll reinstall the unit into the cover. Install the spring over the seat guides. Replace the relief valve cover and the cover bolts. And finally, reconnect the sensing tube. And just like that, you're done. Thank you for watching this troubleshooting and maintenance video for the Zurn Wilkins 375 Reduced Pressure Principle Large Backflow Preventer. We hope you found this information useful. If you need additional support, please reach out to the Zurn Customer Care team. And for other installation and troubleshooting videos, visit Zurn's YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.